Hey there, Skeleton Key here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Um, so this is actually the second time I have done sort of a reading and productivity sprints kind of live show. But the first time it was just like, I don't know, let's just do this. It was for Superb Owl Sunday, and this time I have a little bit more of a plan. I missed doing a bunch of tags that went along with readathons last month in April, and so I think I'm gonna take a look at the I'm going to take a look at the this or that tag from People April. And I know, yeah, they've already done sort of a wrap-up video of, people's thoughts and everything on that. But I just thought I'd see what, yeah, I'm looking at the questions and I'm like, oh, it depends. It depends. It's a this or that. Do you like this or do you like that? And the idea is to come up with some suggestions of the kinds of people books that you like, and recommendations for others to read. So I thought I would do that, and maybe look a little bit at some of looking back at April, because I didn't really do a whole lot of that in my weekly book report on Tuesday. So there's that. So, if you're watching live, of course, just pop into the chat and say hi, and you can tell everyone what you're reading or working on. If you're creating something or just doing the usual same old work stuff, which is perfectly acceptable. Sometimes it's good to have other people around to kind of get you going on that. But yeah, this is what I'll be doing, some work stuff, because I am behind, because I haven't been able to get much done this week because of, I injured my leg over the weekend, and so that's been fun. But it is recovering nicely, and hopefully by this weekend I'll be able to do normal stuff again. But anyway, I will also be reading The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. I've just started it, so I'm probably not gonna, there's no way I'm gonna get it finished in time for the book club, but oh well. At least I'll figure out if it's something that interests me. I've seen mixed reviews. Most of the reviews I've seen on this are very, very favorable, but there are some that are like, nope, just read Tchaikovsky, which I do plan to do. I read Children of Time, and I think Children of Ruin is the octopus one. So I will probably read that in June for Genreland. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get going with a sprint. No one else is here yet, and I'm still bad about getting things up with enough notice, but I will, since I do know that I'm going to be doing these every Thursday this month at 2:00 on Mountain Time. So I will get them up with more notice. The weekly book reports are still, if they happen, I may just roll them into these, but depending on the week. But I will be getting some more notice out there so that people know when to show up. And but yeah, let's go ahead and get started with a sprint. But first, I will ask the first question. And so if you're watching this on replay, feel free to put your thoughts in the comments section. Let's see. So let's see. The first question, and this is, again, the this or that People April book tag. So the first question is big, fat, and detailed biographies or short and succinct? So you can, even if you're just popping in later, you can answer that and let us know if you have any recommendations. And so let's see, we'll do a 20-minute sprint here and see if anybody shows up to answer the question. And let's see. And this is my first time using this timer. I used a different timer the other time I did a sprints thing. And I wasn't real happy with that. It was real fiddly, and I'm hoping this works better. I saw Cat with Cat's Novel Adventures doing this, and it's Pomodoro Kitty. And sure, yes. Okay. I think I just work. All right, there you go. Happy sprinting. Okay, that was 20 minutes. So that was our first sprint. And let's see. Okay, so still just me. So big, fat, and detailed biographies or short and succinct. I kind of like the short and succinct. Although it's biographies, not autobiographies. Sometimes with autobiographies, I do like a lot of detail. But generally speaking, I get really intimidated by big, thick books. So, yeah, I think I have to go with the short and succinct. And then if I'm really super interested, then I can go find something a little more in depth. Trying to think what biographies have I really liked. I think most of the biographies I've read have been like little, real short things. Oh, hi, Scorpio Rising. Good to see you here. Welcome, welcome. So Scorpio Rising says, I don't really like nonfiction. Hi, I haven't decided what I want to read yet. I don't know. I've been getting more into nonfiction lately. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. So I actually, well, a friend and I started a nonfiction book club several years ago. And of course it went dormant when the pandemic hit. And then we started it back up as a virtual book club, and it is nonfiction only. And so I have been reading more nonfiction, but even for that, we haven't read a lot of biography. So, yeah. So Scorpio Rising, what do you like to read? Is there a particular genre you like, or are you just fiction, or because I don't know. I'm a lifelong mystery buff, which is why, yeah, Mysterious Mayhem. Going with that for my May Readathon theme. And yeah, so we can talk about all sorts of fiction, mysterious or otherwise. But yeah, I do like the short, and a lot of times for challenges, I'll end up at the end of the month going, I need to read a biography, and I hop on Hoopla and I see it's like, oh, there's a 24-page biography on Simone Biles. It's like, let's read that. And it's kind of interesting reading kids' books because it's like, okay, yeah, I learn a lot of things that I had no idea about from kids' books. It's like, oh, they didn't teach that when I was a kid. So let's see. I read most fiction. However, my favorite genres are mysteries and thrillers. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I started in really early on the mysteries. And do you have any favorite authors? I started, well, I think the first series I read was the Encyclopedia Brown series. And that was, I mean, yeah, it was the 70s when I was reading them, and they were mostly, I think, from the 60s. So, and a while back, I reread one of them, and I'm like, oh, what do kids these days? I mean, it's like rotary telephones and all this old tech, and kids interacted in ways that they just don't anymore. And it's like, do they even understand any of this? Oh, Agatha Christie. Yes, yes. Favorite mystery author is Agatha Christie, Encyclopedia Brown. Yeah, so I think I was still in grade school when I started. I found an Agatha Christie book at a garage sale. My mom would take me for garage sailing when I was a kid, and that's how I got most of my clothes and a lot of my books. But yeah, I found an Agatha Christie. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And she's like, "Yeah, like Agatha Christie. And so I started, and I was like 7, I think 7 or 8, started in on those. And I think I've read all of the mysteries except maybe 1 or 2 of the short stories. There are some that I don't think were ever published in the US. And I have read her first, like, they call them romance. They're not really romance. They're just general fiction, literary fiction, I guess. She wrote, what, 5 or 6 of those, and I think I have all of them, but I've only read the first one so far because I'm going back and doing them, reading everything in chronological order, including her nonfiction, which I think I've read most of it. But I did buy a book a while back that I think has a few essays or something. Yeah, my favorite, yeah, Agatha Christie, Daphne du Maurier. I liked a lot of Sayers stuff. I liked a lot of the Golden Age stuff, even though it's, not maybe not so politically correct, or maybe modern sensibilities. It doesn't quite jive with that. But my favorite Christie book is probably Crooked House. I haven't gotten to that one yet on my reread, so I'm really looking forward to rereading that. I do really like And Then There Were None. Even though it's not really, people are like, oh yeah, read And Then There Were None. That is your first Agatha Christie. And it's like, well, that's great. It's a great book, but it's not really like her other stuff. So it's I don't know. I don't think of it as a really super starting place. I tend to think of like Miss Marple, or even, Mysterious Affair at Styles, the first Poirot. I think that's a pretty good starting place. And I've reread it a few times, and I like it better each time, I think. So it's a little hard to say. Do you have a favorite Christie? Let's see, other favorite mystery writers. Let's see, I'm trying to think of current ones. Well, I write mystery, so I have a lot of mystery writer friends. So yeah, it gets a little dicey. It's like I don't want to, say list a few of my friends and not other friends, and so maybe I should just stick to the dead ones. But a while back I've started reading, was it Keigo Higashino? I read, let's see, Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Yeah, that, I think I was like 12 when I read it, and I think maybe I just didn't really understand the rules that people are supposed to go by in writing mysteries, and she broke a rule, sort of. I didn't think of it as breaking a rule, but 12-year-old me was like, well, why are you not that? And yeah, so I figured it out pretty quickly. But I think it was because I didn't know any better. I didn't know you couldn't do that, or weren't supposed to do that. And yeah, and so like you have to be careful not to give spoilers, because a lot of people have never read it, and I don't want to spoil it for them. But if you like that one, read Malice by Keigo Higashino, if you haven't already. Cozies. I enjoy cozies. Yeah, I know for the most part they're not aspiring to be great literature or anything. They're just fun little popcorn reads, and some of them do have a lot of depth to them, I think. But I don't know, a lot of my friends write cozies, and I haven't written a cozy yet. Well, I mean, some of my short fiction probably qualifies as cozy. And I don't know. And I guess technically the one that I'm trying to get ready to send out to publisher, That one, I guess, technically is a cozy, so, but I don't know, it's kinda weird. It kinda crosses that border. But, yeah. So what do you mean by controversial? I mean, they I guess they could be considered fluff reads, but I'm like, "What's wrong with a fluff read?" I've been known to give Cozy Mysteries 5 stars because it's like it set out to be a good fluff read, and it was a good fluff read, and I had a lot of fun with it, so I'll give it 5 stars. I don't know. I don't get snobby about, that in my rating. It's like my rating is just kinda whatever I feel in my gut at the moment. So, yeah. Um, yeah, but, I don't know, controversial. And I have heard about some controversy with, like, I know witchy mysteries, witchy cozies are really super popular with a lot of people right now, and, I've read some and I really enjoyed them. Yeah, yeah, and it's okay, so maybe it's not, literary literature, but and I've read mysteries of all subgenres that have some of them have been written very well, and I think would even qualify as literature. But, yeah, there's been a lot that have been really poorly written, and I mean, that's all subgenres. Uh, and I've read a lot of, and even, self-pub doesn't really guarantee one or the other. I've read a lot of self-published works that were absolutely well done. They invested in, proper editing and everything. And I've read some that it's like, oh wow, you took your brain dump and stuck an ISBN on it and stuck it on Hoopla. Yay. But good. Yeah. Yeah. I like a good cozy. So let's see. Some good cozies. I've been enjoying, let's see. I've been enjoying Rita A. Pop's books lately. They're kind of cozy, and I've only got the first one so far, but it's set in New Mexico. So, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for an interesting setting too. And I do find, cozies, a lot of times they invest a lot in the setting and, whether it's, just a little bookstore somewhere or a bakery, or whether it's a town or a region or a state. And I think the cozies really do kind of go after either very specific um, niche, I guess. So Tanya Kappa's Summer Prescott. Okay, I don't think I've read any of those. So yeah, I gotta write that down. But yeah, I'll have to go back through and write that down and look for those. Because yeah, I'm not familiar with those at all. Are there any kind of subgenres that you really like foodie? I know foodies are really popular, and I like 'em, and I like the recipes, even if I'm never making the recipes. Although I have my go-to cookie recipe I found in a Joanne Fluke book, and it's the mystery cookies recipe. It's well worth it. Yeah, and it also makes a good base. And I'm at high elevation now. Well, sort of the low end of high elevation. I'm at like 5,000 feet, something like that. And I was when I lived in New Mexico, I was at about the same elevation. But I used to live in the Midwest, and that's pretty much sea level. So a lot of my cookie recipes did not work, but that one works at least mid elevation. And the mystery cookies recipe, I forget which book it was in, but I think she's got them all on a website somewhere. Maybe her own website. So you could probably just go to Joanne Fluke's website and find it. But it works at my elevation, and I use it as a good base for, it's like sometimes it's kind of a spice cookie, but sometimes I'll like substitute out some of the nuts and add chocolate chips or butterscotch chips or something, and I'll just mix it up as to what I do with it and the mix-ins. But I'm not a fan of paranormal cozies. I mean, some of them, I don't know, some of them just get a little too cutesy, and a lot of them, I feel like there's not a lot of thought put into the magic system or the world building in general. So yeah, I can see that. Although I do, well, they're not cozies, they're urban fantasy, but Carrie Vaughn's werewolf, Kitty the Werewolf series, those are fun. Okay, Summer Prescott's books have really good dessert recipes. I'll have to look for those. Yeah, like a good foodie mystery. And I've let's see. I've read a few of I think for a while there, the Goldie Bear series was really popular, and it's set here in Colorado. And I don't know, I couldn't really get into those. But I think maybe, it had a lot of like relationship stuff in it that I was just like, I think y'all need to grow up. And so yeah. But, and the Joanne Fluke mysteries, I don't know. I've only read one of them, and it's the one I cut the mystery cookies from. But I like the recipes better than the stories. And then there are some that the recipes just sound so wonderful, but I'm looking at the recipes going, there is no way I am taking 10 hours out of my day to make that. So, and then I like sci-fi mysteries sometimes. I mean, some of them are kind of cringe, but I like crossover when it's done well, like science fiction or fantasy. But they're science fiction. I'm trying to think for just some. Some of them you can tell they're Agatha Christie fans. Connie Willis. She writes a time travel series, and one of the books in the time travel series, I mean, they all have sort of a mystery element. I think any good story has a mystery element to it. But to say nothing of the dog is very obviously a riff on Agatha Christie. And she makes no bones about her Agatha Christie fandom. But that, and then what was it, Six Wakes, Mira Lafferty, I think. And that, I think it would have been better if the author had just gone whole hog on the mystery aspect of it. And I don't know. Although I think one of my biggest complaints about that one was the lack of world building. So I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say. Let's see. Let's see. Well, since let's see. Okay, so we've got other people here, I think. But we can, yeah, so I'm going to toss another question out there. And yeah, sorry, Scorpio Rising. It is nonfiction, but it is, oh, I was going to type it in advance. But anyway, it is celebrity memoirs or average Joe memoirs. So I'll put that in a banner up here. So I don't know. And I guess this one, it depends on what do you consider celebrity? What about an average Joe who becomes a celebrity? I kind of like some of those. I think one really good memoir I read, and it was self-published, but it was actually really well done. You could tell she made some effort, and it was, oh gosh, what was the title? But it was about narcolepsy, her experience with learning that she had narcolepsy. I think narcolepsy with cataplexy. And oh gosh, I can't think what the title of that one was, but and it shows, the cover has this image of this woman falling, and I remember it was words to a song. It was song lyrics title. But so she was just, she wasn't a celebrity at all. She talked about how she was in law school and how it messed with her her career choice and plans for that. So yeah, that celebrity memoirs, I mean, a lot of them are just, I mean, especially the ones that are ghostwritten, and I mean, there are good ghostwriters out there, and not really dissing that whole concept, and but so many celebrity memoirs just seem to be opportunistic, I guess. Although I did enjoy why am I blanking on his name? Lando Calrissian. I'm just going Lando Calrissian. But anyway, yeah, his memoir that just came out a few months ago. I enjoyed that. It was kind of interesting because I was a little kid for a lot of his career, and well, a lot of his career happened before I was even born, and so it was really kind of weird to experience that. So I'd say probably the average Joe memoirs. And I like, and I do read a lot of memoirs from like family members. It's like, apparently people on both sides, both my mom's and my dad's side of the family really have a thing about writing things down. So that's where I get it from. But they, my great aunt Ivadine wrote a short memoir, and so yeah, I started reading that, and it was really interesting. It's like, getting to know all my ancestors and family elders and what they were like as, when they were younger, and I think that's fun, and I think they're important to, like, they're important records of just how life was at that point in time, and throughout their lives, and the changes that they experienced in society, and especially like the 20th century, man, so much happened between the first year and the last year of the 20th century. So it's really interesting to see that kind of thing, just from an average Joe kind of perspective. Let's see. And so I think we'll do another 20 minutes. And I will go ahead and put up another question so that you can be thinking about that if you're so inclined. Complete correspondence or selected letters. Oh, that's easy for me. But yeah, so I'll tell you right now, it's selected letters because, oh my God, can you imagine going through an entire correspondence? But anyway, 20 minutes on the clock. Okay. There's another sprint gone. And let's see. Scorpio Rising says, I have read a few celebrity memoirs. I enjoyed Nina Simone and Bob Dylan's memoirs. I have not read either one of those. I read volume 1 of Mark Twain's autobiography. I think the man was born to be a blogger, because the first I listened to it on CD on a road trip, and the first disc or two was all the editors, the editorial team, just griping about how hard it was to edit everything, because it was basically this pile of journal entries and essays and everything that he'd written. It was, whatever he was thinking about that day, he would write about it. And they're like, putting this into a coherent biography was apparently really, really difficult. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should have just run with the blog concept and published it like that. I don't know, but it was interesting. It was interesting. I do want to read the second volume one of these days, but it's over there, but it's heavy. It's about yay big and about yay thick, and yeah, it's a doorstop. So let's see. And don't know, Scorpio Rising, if you are still here, did you figure out what you were going to read or work on? But yeah, how'd everybody do? And anyway, the complete correspondence or selected letters. Yeah, I guess if a complete correspondence just means like, between two people, and I can see how that would be really interesting, especially if it was, just like over a period of a certain time. Like, I'm reading 84 Charing Cross Road, which is, I think it's supposed to be true. It's an what is the word? The word just, I had it there and it just went away. Epistolary. It is an epistolary story. So, and that, I don't know if that's probably not the complete correspondence, but it is the complete correspondence of these two people in a set amount of time. So that's one thing. And I'm enjoying that. And it's really short. But I don't know, selected letters. And it kind of depends on what you mean by selected letters. But again, I'm going to go with, and also it depends on who the correspondence is. If it's like, two people I really don't care about and don't really, it's like I've read some of their work and doesn't really speak to me, then I don't really care about their entire correspondence with each other. So, let's see, what is the next one? Memoirs written when the events are fresh, or memoirs written with hindsight? There's, gosh, again, it depends. Although I'm gonna say, generally speaking, written with hindsight, because that's kind of the point, is to of reading a memoir, is to see what the writer has gained from this experience. Um, and memoirs are usually about like a specific point in time kind of thing. Um, specific events or series of events. Whereas an autobiography would be more of a, here's my entire life. Um, but yeah, if they're talking about, something they went through or did, like I remember reading one memoir. It was a travel memoir, and it was these two, I don't know. I was going to say elderly, but they were probably just middle aged. They were probably about the age I am now. But anyway, these two white ladies, went on a trip to Africa, and a lot of it was interesting. Mainly, I just wanted to, like, pry the comma key off of this woman's keyboard, but yeah, major comma abuse. But this is a self-published average Joe memoir kind of thing, and or average Jane, I suppose. And it was when events were pretty fresh, and these two ladies, they went around Africa being kind of Karenish, but I don't know. Yeah, it's like, uh, and I kind of wonder, would they ever have actually gained insights? I don't know. Um, Although it was kind of entertaining to read about, one of them accidentally sitting on an anthill, like, yeah, yeah, a big anthill. That was kind of entertaining, but although, I mean, it was kind of strange because they were trying to be, worldly travelers and not succeeding that well, but they were giving it a shot, and, points for that, I suppose, but oh, well. So yeah, that was one where events were fresh, and I don't know if it would have aged well if she had waited 5 years, I don't know, and then thought about it. Um, I don't know, and I think travel memoirs really probably should be fresh, but if it's something like, um, a memoir of, a decade in, um, I don't know, or maybe even like a memoir of the whole pandemic thing, the lockdown and all that. Because, and you see it showing up in fiction a lot now, and I've seen a few memoirs of that, but I think some of that might, I think it's good for someone planning to write a memoir of something like that, to make lots of notes while they're fresh in their mind, but then maybe let it sit for a while and sit with that experience and sit with those memories and come back to it later. And because I know, like, in the last couple of years, a lot of people I know are like, I don't want to read about that. I don't even want to read fiction about the pandemic. So, and lockdown and all that stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, I think a lot of things really would benefit from hindsight and reflection. Um, Next one is gossipy biographies or scholarly biographies. And um, I mean, it depends on who it is. But probably scholarly. I'm gonna come down on the side of scholarly. Um, let's see, and this is the halfway point of the this is question 5 of the tag. So I'll probably end with this, and then we can talk about fiction. Gossipy biographies or scholarly biographies? Yeah, scholarly is probably, it may not be as fun to read, but if I'm reading, like if I'm reading a biography of an author, um, like Shirley Jackson, I was, somebody was talking about biographies of Shirley Jackson and TV shows and stuff about Shirley Jackson, documentary kind of stuff, and also kind of fictionalized or dramatizations. There, I kind of, I'm gonna say I'm more interested in the scholarly, even if it is drier. And then you get the gossipy ones. I'm just like, I don't know how much of this is true, especially, and I don't really have much interest in the whole, Hollywood biography, the celebrity biographies of that kind. Even though, I mean, um, the one I read recently was probably pretty gossipy. Well, that was a memoir, actually, not a biography. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the gossipy tone just kind of annoys me. So, all right. So that's the first half of the this or that tag, and let's see. And so wait a little bit before going into the last sprint. But yeah, let's gonna talk about Mysterious Mayhem reading. So this is the first first one. So we'll talk a little bit about zombies, and let's see, how many Thursdays are there? Oh, I should have looked at my calendar first. Or does this say? Okay, so we do have, all right, so this is the first of 4. So, and I know last week I talked a little bit about zombies. So, let's see. So we'll talk about zombies and tricksters. So, although I do kind of want to hold off on saying more about some zombie books that I have been reminded of. Let's see. Because okay, so here's the thing. I'm looking at doing a live stream with guests on. Yeah, it's not working out to get guests for the Thursdays. I was really trying for that, but and it may yet happen on one of the Thursdays, but scheduling Thursday afternoons is difficult. But might be looking at maybe the 26th or the 27th, sort of a little wrap up video, but with a few of my friends joining me and talking about Mysterious Mayhem books and what they read, and so yeah, I won't talk a whole lot about these, but I was reminded today of a Christopher Moore book called The Stupidest Angel, and it has zombies. So let's see. Do I have Goodreads? Show you this. Here we go. A heartwarming tale of Christmas terrors. Yeah, this is a holiday book, but it's it's very much fun. Although, yeah, I was also, I recommended it to my friend, and she was reading it, and she's like, "Wow, I didn't realize this was such a horny book." Yeah, it's pretty horny. I had forgotten that. So, it is, Christopher Moore has a very distinct style of humor, and a lot of people don't like it, but a lot of people love it, and I'm one of those people that, and you do have to kind of be in the right mood for it, because it's different. But yeah, um so yeah, the stupidest angel accidentally creates a zombie apocalypse in Pine Cove. Yeah, and this is the third book in the series, but it works pretty well. I still haven't read the first two books in the series. I think I've got them somewhere, but I have not read them yet. I also haven't finished Lamb yet. He wrote Lamb. I have one for the Alias would be Sacre Bleu. Yeah, we could talk about that one. That's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, if you've read any Christopher Moore, let me know what you think of that. Um, and but yeah, that's a good zombie one. Stupidest Angel. Let's see if I can find it. What are the first two in that series? Grim Reaper. I haven't read any of the Grim Reapers. I think I do have that one. Pine Cove number 1 is Practical Demon Keeping. And here's Sacre Bleu. It's especially if you have an interest or would like to have an interest in impressionist art, French Impressionism. It's hilarious. It's yeah, there's lots of opportunity to be offensive in this book. So it's great. But Bleu is a character, and she has several different personas, and I shouldn't say more than that, but it's about the main characters are impressionist painters, and wow, he did a lot of research, and so a lot of this is really true stuff that actually happened, but then there's all sorts of fantastical stuff as well. But especially if you're looking for something set in Paris, because most of it is in Montmartre and thereabouts. Christopher Moore is a very sick man in the very best sense of that word. That's a quote from Carl Ice. And yeah. Okay, I was planning to go for about 2 hours. So, let's see. Vampire books. There was another vampire book that somebody told me about, and now that's gone out of my head. Maybe. So I figure I will do another, just in a minute or so here, I'll do another sprint, and then we can chat a little bit more. if anyone's available. And if anyone else pops in. And then call it a day. So yeah, because I need to elevate my leg. And yeah, it's like friend asked me how I did that, how I tore the muscle in my leg, and said, yeah, I was getting into my car. I really could start making up stories for all the stupid ways I injure myself. I've got to make up interesting stories because, oh yeah, I was getting into my car really is not, oh, I slipped on a pebble. I mean, sure, it was in another country, but that doesn't necessarily make it interesting that I almost lost my leg by slipping on a pebble. And yeah, same leg too. I don't know. Maybe I should just get rid of it and cut my losses. I somehow think that would go badly. Anyway, so let's go for another 20-minute sprint and check in after 20 minutes. And we are back. And so that was the last sprint. Let's see. So how did we do? I have made some progress on The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor, and I got a little bit of work done, but this proves to be interesting. Now the question is, since I'm not going to finish it in time for book club, do I go to book club or not? Because I have a feeling there's going to be spoilery stuff in here. So I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Should I go and be sociable, or should I skip it and catch up with everyone later? I don't know. Because I do want to finish it, at least the way it is at this point, because there's all sorts of mysterious stuff going on with octopuses and their octopods. I saw something that indicated the development of the plural the plural usage for octopus. So I don't know. I still have I don't know. I feel like octopi just sounds better to my ear, but it's, yeah, I do have a hard time with things with lots of legs, or arms in this instance, and it's the suction cups that really get me, and yeah, but I have to respect the octopus because, wow, they're so smart, and yeah, and I read Remarkably Bright Creatures, which of course kind of takes everything to a little bit of a ridiculous place, but it's a fun book. But even then, there are references to just how powerful these animals are and how smart and clever. Not just smart, they are clever. They are very clever and devious. And I think, and just from what I've read, like the blurb and everything, that this is in the future, and they come across a species of octopus or a community of octopuses that are, they have like a societal structure, and they're not nice. They're very much not nice, and problems ensue instead of wackiness. There may be wackiness too. I don't know. But if you want wackiness, you can go to Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. That's a fun one. And I'm trying to think so I don't know yet if this will count for Mysterious Mayhem prompts. I think it's, there's a lot of mysterious stuff going on and thrillery kind of stuff. So there will be, it will count for the month for the general overall theme, but I'm not sure yet if it counts for a prompt. So we'll find out later, I guess. But so far I'm having a good time with it. It's definitely piqued my interest. So yeah, so if you're I don't know if anyone is still here hanging in with me, but I have appreciated the conversation that we had going on earlier. That was fun, talking about mysteries and cozies. And still, if you're watching on replay and want to put any comments out there, feel free, and we'll talk about mysteries some more. Or if you even want to talk about nonfiction, biographies, and memoirs, we can do that too. Let's see. So I will, I'll probably do both a Monday or Tuesday, I'll probably do a weekly wrap up, a weekly book report, and I'll try to get that scheduled on Saturday. I really will try to get that scheduled on Saturday so that you know when it is. But also Thursday, more sprints, 2 p.m. at Mountain Time here on my channel. And appreciate y'all hanging out with me and helping me get some reading and work done. And I will talk at you later.